Okay, I'm recording now. Go ahead, Tony. Do the intro.
The hand thing.
Oh
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I fucked that up.
Three,
No, no, no.
two.
Well, let's restart. Let's restart. So you got a clean intro. Whatever you want, and I won't block you on it.
Okay. Three, two.
You're watching Last Watch with Bernard Meisler, and I'm Tony DuShane. This week we're talking about Westworld, Season 3, Episode 3. How you doing, Bernard?
Oh, just everything's peachy up here in Northern California. I'm getting a little cabin fever. Thank goodness we have more TV than we know what to do with.
Yes, exactly. And then when you get bored of TV, you could watch a couple of fellas talk about TV.
There you go. But Tony, as desperate as I am for new content, I don't know if I'm gonna hang with Westworld. I mean, I say I'm not gonna watch it, but anymore, I'm kind of done with it after this episode. But I'm a liar. I'll still watch it. I'll just hate it.
Okay, so let's find out why. Now, why are you out on this episode? And I'll explain why I'm in.
Okay.
But you may talk me out of it. See if
this is how the whole idea for this show started. Is that
Right.
you talking about Westworld and saying you really like the episode, and I was like, no, Westworld's dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
So you might talk me out of it, and it might be the last episode I ever watch, and then you'll secretly watch them.
That's exactly what's going to happen. That's my hope.
So tell me why. Why does Westworld suck and we should never watch it again? And I'll be
again.
whoa.
Again, to reiterate what I've said before, the show has just they've done a fantastic job at world creation. I'm really interested in this world, like what this future looks like. I'm guessing this is at least 50 years from now, because in season 1 there was the young version of Ed Harris, the McPoyle brother guy. If you ever watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And that had, that was obviously in the future, and then it was 25 years later after that. So we're at least 50 years in the future. Maybe it's 100. Who knows? Lots of stuff is.
You don't like future? That's fine. I get it.
It's not the near future. It's a good deal, a good number of decades away. But anyway, the world is really interesting. The production values are top notch. The music, the acting's great. I love Tessa Thompson. I love Jesse. I can't call him Aaron Paul.
I can't call him Aaron Paul, and I can't call him Caleb. That's his name in the series.
I can't call him Caleb. He's just Jesse.
I'm like, Jesse cooked meth, and meth makes you stay young for 50 years. Right. And then all of a sudden
he works for the criminal thumbtack of the future, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Criminal TaskRabbit, maybe is what it is.
Right. Oh, yeah. I love that. Now, I love that storyline. That storyline is badass.
Yeah.
I could watch a whole series just on that storyline.
Okay. Here's where things started to go south for me. The meet cute of Jesse and Dolores. Oh no, you've been shot and found you in an underpass. Take care of you.
What?
Yeah, the meet cute.
Meet cute?
Meet cute.
Meet cute. What does that mean?
Tony, you've never heard this phrase, meet cute? That's like the typical rom-com, oh, you dropped your whatever into my shopping cart. Oh, and then,
Oh, so you don't like how they got together?
Yeah. No, I don't like how they got together. I don't like how Jesse is ready to die for Dolores, this weird robot chick that he just met like 2 minutes ago, but he's willing to give his life for him.
I thought they did good on the backstory on that. It showed us just how fucked up his life was.
Yeah.
And also how he was, I didn't look back at the earlier episodes, but I think they've been breadcrumbing it. He's been in the army. He's been at war. He did something fucked up at war. I don't think he was really, maybe he wasn't there for it. So the guy is just a mess. So he sees someone that's so out of the ordinary and takes him out of his weird life where she's just like dragging bodies with one arm and he's going, okay. And I just I did a little needle drop on this series and just jumped into scenes. And the reason she's like, why do you want to do this when he wants to fight with her? And he's like, because you're the thing that feels most real in my life since, mom or anything. And it's
Isn't
just like,
that ironic that it's a robot that feels the most real to him?
yeah, and I love that.
I'm sorry. I thought this whole thing was so cheesy and hackneyed. I took some notes here. The other things, some of the really terrific dialogue was when Charlotte's saying, "Who's the mole? If they find out," Charlotte's like, "If they find out I'm a robot, they will kill me." And I'm like, "Really? Oh, okay. You better stop that robot cutting in public then." You know, and like, what's up with the robot cutting in public? You know, it's like, come on, Charlotte. And the other thing too, we're talking about San Francisco. They did one of my all-time pet peeves for shows that are shot in San Francisco. They do the same shit for like other big cities too.
Yeah.
But I forget the location, but he's somewhere in downtown San Francisco. Yeah. And then he's going to her home on Fremont Street.
Right.
And then they have the obligatory shot of them driving over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yep. For San Franciscans, that drives us crazy. Well, yeah, because that's nowhere. Nobody goes over the Golden Gate Bridge unless they live in Nevada or Marin.
Right.
The Golden Gate Bridge, if you go anywhere in San Francisco and you're going to another place in San Francisco, you're not going to see the Golden Gate Bridge unless you like really try hard.
Yeah, to translate for New Yorkers, this would be like if somebody was going from the Upper West Side to the West Village and they put an insert of them driving over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I get it because they got to keep the establishing shots of what we're in. So if they do a sweep of downtown, San Francisco can look a little generic. You know, everything's looking generic now. So it's just like sweep of downtown. People aren't going to get it.
Transamerica, the Zippy the Pinhead's favorite building. You know, the Transamerica Pyramid, and we've also got the giant Salesforce building now, the giant uncircumcised cock that just...
oh my God, it's so phallic. When I went back up to San Francisco, I'm like, look at that dick. Man, so I had no idea the dick was so big in San Francisco. But at the same time, they are pushing this to international audiences who only go, oh, San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge. This is what
I know, but it's also just... It's just like it just like disrespects my intelligence. Or I mean, come on, there's only 20 million people who live in the Bay Area who look at them and go, come on, you know.
Yeah.
Another example of that was in Basic Instinct, which of course, you know, I didn't understand when I first watched, but there's a scene where they say, come on, she lives out at Stinson Beach. Let's go to Seadrift. And if you've been to Stinson Beach, you know that Seadrift is this street. It's like really flat. And it's just like right on the ocean. And then they drive to Sharon Stone's house and it's like Big Sur or something. She's on these giant cliffs. And it's like, why'd you have to say Seadrift? Couldn't you have said, let's go out to her house by the cliffs or something? Yeah. Anyway,
right, exactly.
That's the kind of I know this is like a borderline nitpicking, but that's the kind of shit that drives me crazy. I just feel disrespected as an audience member.
Well, at the same time, not like I've been around this a lot, but I've been around it enough where a screenwriter writes something in and then that stays in through the process and the screenwriter may be pushed aside for a bit. So, and then there's a location scout just going, we need this, we need this, we need this. Right. And so they're going so fast, they don't even give a shit that the reference is wrong. And by the way, I think San Francisco, I think the insert shot for San Francisco could be like Fremont. Just if they let's go from the Embarcadero to Nob Hill, and then they insert a long Fremont stretch on one of those roads.
Yeah.
Cuts back. That would be the same as the Golden Gate Bridge.
But come on, you can do Coit Tower. You could
Coit Tower.
You could do the Painted Ladies. There's a lot of other. You know, come on. You don't have to show the Golden Gate Bridge every damn time. Come on.
And the goddamn Painted Ladies. I can't believe that's a tourist trap because of that TV series with Bob Saget. And then show the Olsen twins walking out of the Painted Ladies, and then cut to.
What was that show called? I
got no idea.
Full House.
Full House. All right.
Full House. Tremendous show.
Too much time on Full House. Let's go back to the rom-com.
Go back and watch all 32 seasons of Full House. With,
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other stuff? So Charlotte lives up. So Charlotte shows up, and then there's this guy Jake there, and then I don't know. We're supposed to know who this guy is.
Oh, is that Jake Sirac, the French actor? It's not his. That's his character name, but he's the French actor.
And no, the Charlotte's like ex-husband that she had the kid with or whatever.
Oh yeah, I love that dude. I can't remember what TV show he was on that he was the star.
Yeah.
But I saw him. I was like, oh, badass, cool.
Yeah.
But
then there's like a scene where, but again, this is the kind of thing that just like is driving me away from the show. There was a scene where I can't even remember if it was Charlotte or her ex-husband who's talking to her kid, and they're going, mommy and daddy just like, we're just not together anymore, but it's got nothing to do with you. We love you very much. And this is like very special episode sitcom 80s dialogue. Like, come on.
No, I hated that whole scene. I hated the premise of it. It made absolutely no sense. I wish they would just stay on top of her. I have no idea who she is. Now this is where I got completely confused. At the beginning, she's like, "Who am I?" And then Dolores shows her the mirror, and she looks in the mirror, and she's like, "So who's inside of her?"
Well, she's one of the robot balls. I guess we don't really know who she is, right? She's like one of those reprogrammed robot balls.
Okay.
And this is also interesting too. I remember reading somewhere that like when they ended season 2, they had like the 5 souls or whatever, the 5 robot balls.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew who 2 of them were, and they didn't even know like who they were. Kind of like making the shit up as they go along, which can work sometimes, I guess. But I don't know.
All right, tell me what else angers you. Okay, let's keep going on. We'll keep going on your anger, and then I'll go with my joy after that. And then you'll get mad at me for joy, and I'll get mad at you for anger.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just.
Again, just there's so many cliched things like the EMT red shirts guys. The guys who got killed in the beginning. Like Star Trek red shirts.
Oh yeah.
Characters. Let's see. And this guy Sirac, they said he's they said he's the richest man in the world because he has $1 trillion. And I'm like, 50 years from now, we'll all be trillionaires by like next year at the rate we're going.
And what's funny is they use the currency of dollars, because at this rate, I'm going to learn Arabic and I'm going to learn Mandarin. And I can't wait to see how our economy shapes up when we get out of this. Because it's cute. They still think the U.S. dollar is going to be the currency of 50 years from now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about 50 weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was watching this. My daughter was sitting there watching, and she's kind of like, she said, "This show is so boring." And then she said, "Dolores has no personality other than that she hates humans and is sexy." And her other quote was, "This is not."
Oh wait, I had an ex-girlfriend like that.
Then she said, "It's not even bad in a fun way, a snooze fest." So I was like, hey, I'm working here. Come on, I got to watch the show and take notes. But they were not,
Oh my God, we should have her do her own thing where she does a rebuttal to our idiocy on this, and then what that'll do is bring in the younger demographic. She'll blow up, and then just
kids. Yeah. And then there's in my notes here, it says, "Let me pause for a moment to see if Costco has any bleach wipes." Unpause. All right.
And did you get some?
No, you can't find them. Yeah. I did find the Holy Grail though the other day. I went into Target and they actually had bottles of bleach. Like I got a half gallon of bleach.
Oh my God, it's so hard to get bleach.
Yeah, you can't find it. They didn't have anything else. No paper towels, no toilet paper, no Purell, of course, no wipes. But they actually had like half a dozen bottles of bleach, and I was like, "Oh, come to Papa."
Yeah. Okay, and then you bought a gun to protect you. Let's get back to the show. Okay.
A couple more things. So I was also wondering why Charlotte was getting voicemails from Throbbing Gristle.
That was passwords, and she finally figures it out in the end.
Yeah, which I also thought was just like, come on. And then Jesse
I like that. I'll tell you why I like that, because remember this is like when we used to have payphones. And there used to be like internet hackers and frackers.
Right.
And so in order to cheat the payphone, all you needed was the different tones that the phone said it goes, oh, that guy just, you go, doot, 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 and then it says, oh, you have 50 cents in there. Okay. And so that's how they used to cheat phones.
Yeah.
That warmed my heart a little bit.
Yeah. It's strange. You just reminded me of something I haven't thought about in many years. When I was a freshman in college, there was this guy who was a phone freaker who was going around. And he would also, but one of the things he did, we did he did this as like a party favor. And we get like a dozen kids in the dorm room. He's like, watch this. I'm going to call Idi Amin. And he somehow got Idi Amin's phone number. And he would call him up for free, using phone freaking. And he would just like be telling him that he was like some big businessman in America. And he would be on the phone with Idi Amin on speaker. And he put on like a speakerphone for like an hour. It was very strange.
That is rad.
Let's see what else. This is also bothers. So Jesse knows. So we're in this world of like super surveillance. Everybody knows everything. Okay, I hated the fact that Dolores knew like his very thoughts, everything that had ever happened when his mom abandoned him in the coffee shop because of like the shit that he buys on Amazon. It's like,
that I gotta agree with you there. I think that whole scene was dragged out. We get it. Yeah. Moms has mental issues. We got that when he's leaving. She's like, he's like, I miss you, Mom. I love you so much. And she's like, oh, you're such a nice boy. Where's my son? It's just like, we get it. And then it could have went shorter. It could have went boom. Yeah. No. Let's do the milk splash on the sneaker for like 3 times.
It's also just weird. Like, so when Jesse goes back to his dying demented mom, even though he knows like everybody is after him, and it's like, really, do you think that would be a smart place to go? Come on. And of course the bad guys catch him.
And she's not going to remember him anyway.
Right. And she doesn't remember him anyway. So it's kind of a bad move for a mastermind criminal that he seems to sort of be,
But this is again, the crystal meth did affect him from Breaking Bad, and then it gave him youth. So I don't know. I give him a pass.
Okay, there's another one too. Is like, so when those 2 killers who captured him were about, this part I really didn't understand. They're about to throw him off the roof. Yeah. And then all of a sudden that badass killer robot shows up. And I was like, oh, Dolores must have sent that robot to stop these guys. Right. And then they just kind of like comes at them and they just go boom and toss it off the roof and it explodes. It's like, what was the purpose?
That was a bad editing choice because they, in the scene before that, they flashed to those riot police, big ass ones where, what's her name is again? I thought it was Tess. Maybe I'm thinking of, she's the one that I don't know what Charlotte? Okay. Charlotte's like rubbing one of the riot police ones. Right. And then we don't get from season 1 where I remember when he was in the construction site and he was like bored and he helped the robot went up with him and that was like his robot buddy. So they didn't reference that in any way at all. They cut from riot police. Oh, we have riot police. Riot police. Same color robots, and then all of a sudden his buddy robot.
I see. Yeah. So that didn't.
That was a total fuck up on their end.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, so when Charlotte goes to see her son, and there's the creepy guy with the dog, and then she just murders him in broad daylight and says, "Here's your dog, son," and like nobody notices that like this guy's just dead like 30 feet away.
I love that. Kill the pedophile. It was weird. It was cliche. It was so gross when he was putting his hand on top of her son's hand as he was petting the dog. This guy's out for bad. He's out for awfulness. Yeah. And she kills him. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you know that book, Save the Cat, where it's like about screenwriting. Save the cat, is kind of like a cliche thing. It's like kill the pedophile is another cliche thing where we go, we're on board. We're on board because she exacts justice on the people who need to die like the scum they are.
It's like John Wick, right? He has the license to like kill 1 million people because they killed his dog.
Exactly. Yeah, that I still never get John Wick, but
I love John Wick. By the way.
Yeah, really. I need to watch them all again.
The first one is like pretty good action flick. The second one, they take it up to this insane level of weirdness.
Okay.
It's really, it was great. And the third one was like that too.
Well, when I find time to stay inside my house, I'll watch it someday.
Yeah, I know. If you ever get a few minutes together between,
Yeah.
I know. It's just like, everybody go ahead and watch John Wick 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead. And then watch maybe, what's it called? Be My Maybe. Have you seen that? The rom-com takes place in San Francisco.
No, but the title sounds terrible.
It's a rom-com, so whatever that tells you. But it was done by 2 Asian Americans, so that was kind of like an interesting sort of aspect of it. But there's a great scene. Is like her new, they're getting together and breaking up, of course, and then all of a sudden she shows up with her new boyfriend, who is Keanu Reeves.
Oh, really?
Keanu Reeves. But he's
Keanu Reeves
acting exactly like John Wick. It was kind of hilarious.
I'm in. Keanu Reeves is eye candy. I could watch him for days. I mean, I love Point Break. I'll watch Point Break again because I could see Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. I'm like, go ahead, make out. I pretend like I don't know the movie already. I'm like, you guys are gonna make out, right? You're gonna make out, and they don't. I'm like, every time.
They do need to make a gay remake of Point Break for sure.
It was already gay. It doesn't need a remake. They just need that one insert of them making out.
Version. Yeah, where's the director's cut of Point
exactly
that we're looking for?
I love that movie. Catherine Bigelow's a great. I mean, her doing that to the Hurt Locker. I'm just like, you go, girl. Anyway, all right, back to Westworld.
One other line here. I wrote this one down because I thought this was like, again, just some of the most atrocious writing that I've seen in a major. The other thing too, I got to explain too. When I say that this is a terrible show, I'm using a different metric than I would if I was watching something that's not like HBO's tentpole series with a huge budget, right? You know what I mean? So I can be more critical of this than I would of like some piece of crap that's on Sci-Fi or something like that, right? That's just inherently bad, and I know it's bad, but this is like, come on, this is supposed to be really good, and you spent a lot of money and time and how. But anyway, I wrote this line down because I just thought this sort of just sums it up. When Charlotte says, I don't need an algorithm to know the men who built this system won't go down without a fight. And I was thinking that's very true. And I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this show is terrible.
Oh, it is kind of inane when I hear it. Yeah, because you know what's great about some of this stuff is and I'm noticing that actors are brilliant sometimes with turning bad dialogue around. They could turn it around and make it emotional. And it happens all too often where it's just like, oh my God, they delivered a really horrible line, but they pulled it off. Yeah. I don't think we have top-notch actors here in this series. Aaron Paul, we do. I don't know about the other ones though. I mean, that's the thing that's very so as much as I'm shitting on this show, it's because I'm very disappointed. Yeah. Because I'm a big Aaron Paul fan. I love Tessa Thompson, Andy Newton. I mean, it's got this great cast, and it's it feels very much like say the final season of Game of Thrones. It's like I guess we got to do another one of these, but their hearts feels like their hearts really aren't in it, you know. Like they're not trying that hard. Yeah, I don't know what set life is on Westworld, but we did talk about the extras. But I want to talk about my joy about it.
Okay, please.
Because I'm giving it a lot of passes because it reminds me of the theme of Battlestar Galactica. Mm-hmm. And I watched every episode of Battlestar Galactica when it came out on Sci-Fi.
I loved Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. That was a great show, except for the final couple episodes where they just whatever. Yeah, but is
that all along the Watchtower?
Yeah.
What does this mean for all of us?
Yeah, no, I loved Battlestar was great. One of the all-time great sci-fi shows. Yeah.
And I think they're taking the same theme of the androids versus humans, and but what Battlestar Galactica gets so much better is they bring in the spirituality aspect of it. Right. All the humans are so-called pagan and think gods, all the gods, and the droids are like, there is one God. And it's a whole twist on what we are in the Judeo-Christian world today, where most people think there's just one God. while androids would, it was just, I just love the spiritual religious aspect they brought into that.
And I should also, just for clarification's sake, we're talking about the early 2000s version of Battlestar Galactica, not the 70s version with Lauren Green. That was a different thing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's what's really keeping me on, because I love the idea, and they also open up. Are we destined? Is and when
froze.
It froze?
It was like it was like I said, freeze all motor functions.
And have a shocked look on your face.
Yeah. I know. I get that. I get that. What did I want to say? Never mind.
But
I get it. I get that. Here's the final thing that is always kind of bummed me out about this show, and not just this show, but other shows too, is that there's not even the slightest glimpse of any humor. And I find that, like, even if you're in like the most tragic drama, whatever, there's humor in life. Funny things happen, like Battlestar Galactica. They had the happen once in a while, right?
Yeah. I think the breaths of Westworld is like, we're gonna fuck somebody. They got a sex scene in every single one. Even the husband and Charlotte, where they're like, but they don't get naked. It's just like, I'm gonna insert it right into your underwear.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but they grind like they're. Westworld has to have the nudity and sex, and they blow it by not having a comedy breath. There needs to be a little bit of, even when Aaron Paul was in Breaking Bad, every time he said bitch, just the way he delivered that, it was always a breath.
Yeah.
Even in the most horrific situations, he says that, and it brings us back and goes, okay.
Exactly. There's a little break in the tension. There's some dynamics. There's some emotional dynamics, and Westworld is a one-note emotional show.
I agree with that, and then also not only that, but if we're talking about the horror of Westworld, we need comedy to kind of break it down in our head. Like even in a pandemic, we're coming up with some comedy going, this is fucked up. But we have to like look at both things at once, just as the human condition, and all storytelling should have. If you're going to be in that hot of a drama and just be full steam ahead on drama, you better have a comedy drop out here and there, and something that's a full dimensional character that's like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. He really played off our comedy, even though it was tragedy from his point of view. But
All right, are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay. So
are we doing Devs next week? Is that what you're going to make me watch?
We could do Devs, or we could, speaking of comedy, we could do Curb Your Enthusiasm if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Let's do Curb. Okay.
Okay.
Want to do the season finale of it?
Sure.
All right.
With the Purell.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. All right, man. It's great. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Last Watch.
Last Watch.